Hey guys, Fred here. My hair is very messy. I've just woken up, but I just thought I would share with you something that came to me from a dream that I had. And the dream was fairly profound, and if I can run through it very, very briefly, I basically healed. I made a full recovery. People were like fairly unimpressed, I guess, and yeah, I can. Like when you see something on Instagram and you scroll through it and you're like, wow, that's cool. Like, keep scrolling. It was kind of like that. It's like, oh, you've healed. Cool. And I was like, no, this is profound, guys. I've healed. Anyway, I was under not immense pressure, but I was under a little bit of pressure to return to normal life. And it just struck me that there's nothing I want less than returning to normal life. It's so weird because for the longest time, I thought that is what I wanted. I wanted to be normal again. I was like, why have I got a permanent disability? Why am I paralyzed? Like, why can't I do the things I used to do? And now it's kind of obvious I don't want to do the things I used to do because I kind of find them rather mundane and very normal. And why would I want to be normal when I'm incredibly unique? And maybe unique's not the right word because everyone's unique, but I'm bloody extraordinary, mate. You know what I mean? Like, I know it sounds weird, but I have this gift now, and it's going to sound a bit weird, but I genuinely feel like I've been given a gift. And the gift is that people seem to open up to me. And I don't know why it is, but I've had friends contact me saying that they felt some sort of like calling to get in contact with me and explain some troubles that they've been having in their life. And I've listened. And I've sort of offered some advice and they've gone away and then I didn't speak to them for a couple of weeks and they've offered me some profound feedback, saying, oh, that chat we had like weeks ago, it's changed my life. Honestly, like things that I haven't expected. Had an experience recently where I went to get a CT on my car. It's the equivalent of an MOT if you're in the UK. And the woman there, she was like, oh, hey, you're Freddo, aren't you? I recognize you from the local magazine. You're the guy who like got paralyzed in an accident. And I was like, yeah, obviously I'm in a wheelchair. She's like, oh, and like within 10 minutes of speaking, she'd opened up to me about some very sort of traumatic times that she'd been through and suffered through about 5 years previously. And I thought, wow, like, why are you telling me this? Like, you obviously don't talk this way to everyone that comes in the front door. So it was really weird. And she opened up to me and we had a really deep conversation with someone I'd just met, and it was really great. The other thing I feel like I've had I've improved the relationship with my mum so much that not only do we speak every day, which you may have heard about in a previous video of mine, but we've become almost like best friends. Not only do we call each other, but we chat intimately about like all sorts of things that I'd never thought I'd speak to about my mum with, and she's like my best pal. I couldn't believe it. And all these things that have happened as a direct result of my injury. And it's made me realize that like the worst thing that's ever happened to me, it could quite possibly be the best thing that's ever happened to me. And I feel like this disability has given me way more than it's taken away from me. I feel like I've become a better listener. I'm more empathetic. I'm a better person. I'm less selfish. I see things in a different way. I have a very different perspective on life. My life is heading in a completely different direction, which I love. I feel like I've got more of a purpose. And I just feel like very, very happy. And it just occurred to me from this dream, the thought of going back to my previous life is terrifying. Like, why would I want to go back to sleepwalking through life? And the job I had that I loved, don't get me wrong, I loved my job. The people I worked with, I thought they were great. They still are great. But I was a chef in a kitchen and I spent 50 hours a week in these four walls, just like buzzing about, like moving very quickly. And I physically can't do that anymore. But my point is I would never want to do that. I could never take a step backwards and go to that place, even though I mourned it for the longest time, like I miss my job, I miss snowboarding, I miss mountain biking. Of course, I'd love to ride a bike again, but those things were distracting me, and I thought those things brought me happiness. I remember this one experience. I was snowboarding on a powder day, and I was on the top of this run, and it was amazing, absolutely incredible. But previously, I'd had a bit of an argument with Lou. I was in a bit of a shit mind state, and I was, it was sunny. There was fresh snow everywhere. I hit this wind lip. I landed a huge backflip, and that, to me, would have been like the best day ever. But for some reason, I still had the hump. I was like still grumpy because I was still, and I was like, wow. So if this external thing, which I thought could have possibly been like the best experience in my life, doesn't bring me happiness, then, what does bring happiness? And I think happiness comes from within, and it sounds really cliche, but it does. It comes from gratitude and mindfulness and being present and cultivating relationships with people and helping other people, like, rather than just helping yourself. And I know I'm speaking from a place of privilege because I'm comfortable here. I receive money from being disabled. I've got a roof over my head. I've got food in the cupboards. I've got a dog. I've got a cat. I've got a wonderful wifey who's stuck with me through a physical, permanent disability, trauma, psychological trauma, the trauma she experienced herself. Our relationship is like solidified. We're like concrete now, like peas and carrots, like we've become closer than I could have ever imagined. And the reason I'm sharing this with you guys is because if you have a permanent disability and you're struggling to come to terms with it, then perhaps one day you will discover that it could be the best thing that's ever happened to you. And it could be really bloody hard to see that right now. But one day you might look back and be like, man, I could never go back to the life I lived before. So I think that's it. I think I've said what I wanted to say. Wow, that was an easy video to make. Maybe I will try and make all of them like this. I don't feel like I even need to edit it. So, cool. That was great. What's that, 7.5 minutes? Brilliant. Done. Love yourself and each other. I'm not even going to do the whole thing. I'm just going to... I'll just do one of those maybe. See you next time.